Hey Wrestle Buddies, welcome to the Wrestle Buddy podcast. A little bit earlier than anticipated today, but obviously we've got our live stream tomorrow, and we wanted to have a little chat about some of these pay-per-views, didn't we? These matches and stuff, Jim, give our predictions.
Yeah,
hey Chris, how we doing, buddy?
What up, Chris?
Oh, Jim, how we doing, mate, anyway?
Doing good. Glad to be doing this on a Friday so I could dedicate the entire day tomorrow to the Royal Rumble.
And the good thing for myself is it means I can go to bed for a couple of hours before it's So what's your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Are you excited?
Yeah, this is the event of the year for me. I think that's a lot of people. It's just the best event. As long as they do it right, it's the most exciting. And I feel like this year it's the most. You can't really put a prediction on it as to like this is exactly who's going to win it like you have the past 3 or 4 years. So I'm excited for the uncertainty going into this year's.
Yeah, I mean, I always think that for me personally, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. Don't be wrong, WrestleMania's always got that something about it.
Yeah. But
Royal Rumble has that certain something as well. I mean, one, it's the start for the WrestleMania season, which we all know, and also for two is. And at pay-per-views, everyone always has a finger predicting somebody's going to come back, this is going to happen. Yeah. But at the Royal Rumble, we're guaranteed some comebacks, aren't we?
Yeah, and it could be someone that you have, like, it could literally be anybody, and that's what's awesome about it. And usually you can tell if the WrestleMania is going to be worth a crap if the Royal Rumble is good. If the Royal Rumble falls flat, then chances are WrestleMania is probably just going to be a dud.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, like, when you say anything can happen, I'll never forget... was it 19, obviously, before all the pandemic hit and stuff, when Drew won. And, it was 20, wasn't it? It was 20, yeah. And Santina Morella in the Women's Rumble just shows you exactly that anything could happen in a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So, we'll go into the Royal Rumble a little bit later on, but, obviously, out of respect and for the fact that they are good matches, I think we best talk about some of the matches that are on the card before we hit the Rumble. So, first of all, we'll look at... Let's go with the least on the card. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice. What's your thoughts on that one?
I don't care who wins as long as it's over afterwards. I hate that this is how I feel about it because I like The Miz. I like Edge. I think they're both, first ballot Hall of Famers. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with it. And usually they're money with whatever they do, but they do not mesh well together at all. And this thing has went on for far too long. So please be over. Just please.
And, one thing that I do, like, okay, well, let's have a prediction then very quickly. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Edge and Beth.
Okay.
If Edge and Beth don't win it, I feel like it's going to go on into Saudi. And I don't want that to happen.
Don't want that. Well, Edge is going to go to Saudi. I think we're going to get Edge versus Miz match at Saudi 100%. I think that'll probably be the end of it by then. But just on, obviously, I always like to look at when we look at end feuds, where do you see these going after this?
Miz is a tough one because I just don't know where he fits right now. And that's kind of uncharted territory for me, for him, in my opinion. I feel like he's always had a spot on the card. You could always kind of pinpoint where he could go, but I don't know where he fits coming out of this Edge feud. I suggested that he gets kind of like not a complete repackage, but change his character up a little bit because it's kind of gotten stale over the years. And if you change him up, maybe even try him as a babyface again, I think it opens up the door for a lot of other things for him. Edge, on the other hand, he's going into a high-profile WrestleMania match. I know a lot of people want AJ, but I don't see AJ this year. But he'll have a high-profile match for sure at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Sorry about that. There's my son messing around in the background. You got Edge versus Big E or AJ Styles. WrestleBuddy, says Alex. Yeah, no, I don't see Big E this year. I think there's different plans for Big E.
Yeah.
Edge though, AJ Styles would be a good one for him. It really would, because it's like another dream match per se, you know. But I'm trying to think who else he could go with. Has he been with Bobby Lashley since he's been back?
He hasn't. I think Damian Priest is an option for him.
Yeah, maybe give him a title.
And depending on what Kevin Owens is doing, that's the match I wanted to see for months now at WrestleMania. I want Edge, Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. I think that'd be great.
And we know that at KO wants that, doesn't he, himself?
Yeah. So how they get there, I don't know. But we'll see what happens with Kevin Owens in the next few weeks.
Chris LaBelle says Miz and Maurice win because 50-50 booking. Do you know what, mate? You're not wrong. It could be that way. Miz then for WrestleMania. Edge Styles would be good. Chris says, yeah, it would be, mate. What do we think on Miz? Do you think Andre to join Battle Royal?
Oof. Yeah, Miz just in a bad spot right now. I think he might serve better on SmackDown right now.
Or do we see Brock Lesnar and Sable versus Miz and Maurice?
Yeah, let Brock Lesnar F5 Maurice.
Brilliant. Okay, though. Well, I think we spent enough time on that match. We've given a bit of a fair shake of the kettle. So let's move on to our next one. We're going to go with the Universal Championship. Tribal Chief himself, Roman Reigns, versus Seth freaking Rollins. And the Usos are barred from ringside, which I think is a very good point to make on this, because otherwise, why would they do it?
Yep.
I see Seth winning on this one. I think that Seth is going to win purely because there's something in the pipeline. I feel like it might be Brock versus Roman again, or something along these lines. But he's been the champion for so long now that maybe it is time to give it a bit of a change. But also, I think that the original plan was for Brock to win the title, wasn't it? Against Roman, and Seth to win the other belt against Big E. So for, obviously WWE being what they are, they'll try and get back to full circle to where they should be. So we could see this one happen, and then we get Roman versus Brock at WrestleMania. Oh, hello, Harold.
How you doing, guys? I'm sorry I'm late.
I
was using my phone. I was supposed to be using a Mac notebook, but anyway.
No problem. Well, anyway, we're gonna, as I say, we're in the process of talking about Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. So, as I said, I think Seth wins it. I think there's a plan there. There was a plan in place all along. Obviously, Roman getting COVID scuppered them plans a little bit. So, WWE is trying to get back to a full circle. What's your thoughts, Jim?
I'm with you on the Seth thing. But I have a bold prediction on the whole card and how it affects WrestleMania, so I'm just sticking with that instead of going with the.
Well, come on, tell us.
Yeah, so I'll go match by match, so I'm not blowing the whole theory in one match. But I think Seth wins this and brings that title over to Raw. And yeah, I think it's time. I think Brock screws Roman here, and that's what that kind of plays into the Usos not being there to help him. And I've always thought that Roman should be losing to someone to put them over. But I think if you look towards the next 3-4 months, there's nobody there for it. And I think they have to abandon ship at this point to prevent Roman from going completely stale. And who better than Seth Rollins? I mean, he's in my opinion, the number one thing in WWE right now as far as the complete package.
Yeah. Ashton Donnelly, my little boy, says, "Hi guys, sorry I was late. Hi Harold." So it's my little lad saying hello to you there, Harold. So what's your thoughts on this match, Harold?
I actually have to agree with Jimmy on this one because it appears that everything's being set right now. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's being set up that way. But then again, that could mean that there's a big swerve coming too. So
interesting.
But I do agree with the fact that, Seth is the only one that could beat Roman at this point because he knows Roman. You know what I mean? Like being in the Shield with him and everything.
Yeah.
So I would have to go with Seth on this one.
Okay. Well, I think either way, whichever way this match goes, I'm looking forward to this match because I don't think we've seen it for a long while.
No.
But also, the fact of the matter is when you've got two guys that know each other as well as these two do, you're always going to get a good match out of them because they know each other's styles. They know how to, Seth will elevate Roman will give Steph the spots, and we're going to get a good match either way, aren't we?
Seth's going to put on the show, and Roman's going to tell the story. You can't have a better match as far as WWE is concerned in the main event right now than Seth versus Roman. That, in my opinion, because you have the best of both worlds.
So we've got Chris LaBelle says Seth Rollins will win because Cowboy Brock Lesnar will distract Roman.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's right. So we're all going to go with So I'm going to go with Roman. Jimmy?
Seth.
Sorry, I'm going to go with Seth.
Yeah.
Got closed out there. Rev, we're going to go for Seth or Roman?
Seth.
Okie doke.
Wow.
So we'll move on to the next match here. We've got Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. So match that's been, Bobby Lashley's been no stranger to the fact that he's wanted to face Brock for a while. It was promised to him when he first come back to the company that he'd get a chance some points against Brock. These two are legitimately tough guys. They've both got, I know you can turn around and say, oh, you want that. Well, Brock Lesnar was UFC champion. Yes, he was. But Bobby Lashley was in Bellator. He fought quite a lot. Is genuine. I love the whole build up to this with the weigh-ins and the head-to-heads and everything else that they've done. It just gives it a real big fight feel, doesn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how they just have not got their hands on each other. I love it when they're able to progress a feud like this and just keep them away from each other. And Brock's one-liners have been fantastic, and I think something that's going unnoticed is Lashley's selling of that. Like, you can visibly see him fuming every time Brock hits one of these one-liners. Like, this isn't a joke to Bobby. No. In real life, he wants this fight, and he's finally getting it, and I'm pumped. It's crazy that it's the Royal Rumble. We have 2 Royal Rumble matches on this pay-per-view, and they might not even be my favorite match of the night because Brock-Bobby has everything in it to make me like that be my favorite match of the night. I think it's just going to be insane.
The only thing that I could really criticise this feud for, I don't know whether criticise is the right word, but I would have loved to have seen a bit more verbal dueling between Heyman and MVP.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't go that way. Yeah. I'm surprised, but Brock's doing it on his own. I think they want to ride that because it's been working, and to take it away from him, I think there's a story there with him and Heyman that it's kind of being told where Heyman is kind of just playing the same role he did with Roman. He's just standing there in the background, and Brock's taking the reins. Do
you feel like the story should have progressed somewhere else between? With Paul and Brock due to the match that was meant to happen at day one, and because of the fact that obviously with Roman getting COVID and stuff, at the moment Paul's just being a bit of a side note because of that fact, because it's like, okay, let's get the Royal Rumble out the way, let's have the Brock Bobby match, and we've got all this stuff in the background with the backgrounds of these two people where we don't really need to go into the whole story of Paul Heyman and that now. So Paul, you just kind of stand there as you're there, but you're not fully involved in it, and once we get past this, then the story will progress on your side of it.
I as I've been saying for months, I thought the plan was Brock Bobby for WrestleMania for a while. I think they've deviated from that because of the Roman thing. And I think this was the plan to do it. It was going to be Brock on his own because I don't think Paul is staying with Brock long term at all.
No, I think they need him back with Roman's own.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they're just kind of sticking with the plan. It's just at a different time, and Heyman just so happens to be there because they haven't been able to finish up the storyline with Roman yet.
And who's to say Paul Heyman won't be in? Oh, sorry.
That was coming right to you anyway. So,
Who's to say Paul Heyman won't play a part in the decision of all this too?
Yeah.
As I said, I don't see him playing a part in this.
Oh,
Harold,
I
in terms
do,
of
big time.
this match, I feel like he's going to be a bit of an afterthought in this match. But I do feel like there's something that happens after this. I think like at the moment, Paul's just kind of sitting along there waiting for this to be over, and then he'll get into his bits there. What's your thoughts on it, Harold?
I would have to say Paul Heyman might pull the swerve of all swerves in the Royal Rumble. I mean, they're making it look like he has nothing to do with it. I mean, they're setting the table well, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to come down to who Paul Heyman decides to back at the Rumble.
Could we be getting this wrong here, do you think, guys? And do you think that, Heyman costs Brock here and runs back to Roman, and that's what sets up the match for them two?
Step 2 of my theory. Paul Heyman is screwing Brock here, and Bobby Lashley is going to win this match.
So you think Bobby wins?
I think Bobby wins. Paul Heyman plays a part in it along with Roman, and
yes,
it's been the plan the whole time. And that's how Paul goes back to Roman. That's what I think the plan is here.
And do you think that's because they feel like that for a WrestleMania match between these two that they don't need a belt involved for it to be a good match?
I think there are other stipulations they could utilize between these two because of how their storied history. It's always involved the belt. Every time these guys fight, there's always a belt involved. Step away from it, and you can still have this match. Just put some kind of stipulation involved with it to elevate it, and you don't need it. It doesn't need a Universal or WWE title. It can be a WrestleMania main event level match without a belt. 100%.
Yeah, totally agree with
I agree.
Okie doke. So Chris says Brock squashes Lashley. Ashton, what's your thoughts on it, mate? Let's go to Jimmy first, Jim.
I don't see Brock tap into the Hurt Lock, but I definitely see him getting pinned here by Lashley. I think Roman comes out to do something to get revenge for Brock costing him earlier. He takes care of that, and then Paul Heyman somehow gets involved, and that ends up allowing Bobby Lashley to hit the spear, get the 1, 2, 3, and get the win.
Okay, well, what I'm going to say is we may get something a bit similar to back in the day. Do you remember when Bob Backlund beat Bret Hart for the title, and it was Owen convincing his mum to throw the towel in, but obviously with Paul being his advocate, it could be Paul who turns around and goes, no, ring the bell, we give it up, and cost him that way.
That's much better than mine. That's much better than mine. I like that one.
Harold, what's your thoughts, mate?
You stole my thought. No, I have to agree with you on that one, Andy. Seriously, I was thinking about a swerve, but not like that. So that works for me.
Okay, right. So Ashton says Lashley hurt lock. Okay, that's good, mate. Yeah, I agree with you, Ashley. Somewhere along the line, whether it's Brock taps to it, as we say, or Paul causes some.
I'd like to see a clean 1, 2, 3 pin on this, even with the let's say the insertion of I like to see a clean 1, 2, 3 pin on this for Bobby Lashley.
Okay. Just another thought on that as well, Jim, just to go to elaborate a bit more on this theory that I've got with Paul Heyman, right? Now, Brock Lesnar goes on about Paul Heyman got me the free agent role, so I can roll across the two things thanks to my advocate. Thanks to my advocate, and then it's like, I lost all my titles thanks to this advocate. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a story there, isn't there? So, okay. So we move on anyway. Next match we'll go for is Becky Lynch versus the Doudrop. Now, on paper, this looks like a very straightforward defense for Becky. I know obviously Doudrop's been built as this monster and whatnot like that, but I've been thinking about this, and I actually seen this match today, and because it was so kind of, it's just a defense for Becky, it makes me think it's not going to be. I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, right? I think Doudrop wins this, and I think Ronda Rousey cost Becky the match. And my reasoning for it is because, no, listen to me, Jim. I don't see Ronda Rousey coming back on a full-time program, right? Which means that if you've got the belt involved, people will think, oh, Becky's going to win this match due to Ronda not being there. You take the belt out the equation, you've got your match. Headliner match, the two of them have got history, you don't need the belt involved in it. Ronda can have the match, even if she beats Becky or Becky beats her, whichever way you go for it. There's no holding up of the title here, and also it doesn't give away the ending because people are like, oh, you'll get Sean Ross Sapp or somebody else, and not knocking them, but they'll say, oh, Ronda's only coming back on a one-shot deal, or she's only going to appear now and again. So people automatically will think, oh, she's not going to win the belt then. So you take the belt out of the equation, it opens it up. Over to you, Jim.
Ronda Rousey's not coming back. Like that's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't think she's coming back. I think people heard this little rumor that WWE is interested in bringing her back, and people have ran with it. Last time they brought this rumor, Ronda hadn't even been training yet, and now all of a sudden they think she's gonna come back and be ready for now.
She's been saying it for a couple of months now. I knew that because we've seen some of the stuff that she posted. Yeah. Just before Christmas, she was posting stuff about the training and stuff like that.
I still don't think she's coming back. I think now
if she comes back, she should be in the Royal Rumble itself.
I don't think she's coming back at all. I think she's terrible for the women's division, 100%. If it's like a one-off thing and she's there to put Becky over like she should have in the main event instead of picking her shoulders up like a little spoiled brat, fine, I'm good for that. Make right on your wrong, but I don't want her in WWE. That's me though. I have a disdain for the woman, so. I
think she's good. I think she's good for the women's division. I think she brings some credibility to it. I don't like her as a person.
Hold on. How would you say it's she brings credibility when she didn't elevate anybody and she just squashed everybody though? Nobody was better off for her being there. That was my thing. And like the one time she was supposed to put someone over, she's like, "Oh, I got my shoulder up. I don't know what was going on." No, you wanted to protect yourself. That's that ego of hers, and that's my issue with her, is that she didn't help elevate anybody. Everybody looked worse off because of her. I think it's set.
She did bring a lot of eyes. She brought a lot of eyes to the
She did bring eyes, and I can't deny that, but I feel like she set the women's division back, and it took a year to kind of revitalize it after she was gone.
Okay. Rev, what's your thoughts on this?
Personally, I would like to see Ronda Rousey return, but not for a title match. Enter the Rumble itself, earn the match. You can't just insert a person like her in there and run roughshod over the rest of the roster, let's say. Because it's not going to do her any good. And it's not going to do the roster any good, and then it won't do WWE any good in the long run. Now, you want to spike in views? Yeah, bring her in.
Right,
but don't bring her in and put her in a title match right away. Let her earn it. Okay. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but
yeah. Okay, right then. Predictions time then, Jimmy.
I think this is going to be a better match than a lot of people are going to give it credit for. I think what Becky does best is tell stories and promos, and she's going to be able to tell a really good story with an opponent like Doudrop, bigger, stronger. She can't manhandle her. Becky's definitely winning.
Plus, they're both
it's not even a knock. It's not even a knock on the Ronda Rousey thing. I just don't see Doudrop being the person they put the title on going into WrestleMania season. They haven't built her up enough to give her that moment. So yeah, Becky wins this.
Brilliant. Hey Courtney, how we doing? Ashton says, don't think Ronda will return to fight, but cause Becky the loss by coming out and calling her stuff.
No,
that's my boy. Don't you dare say anything to my little boy.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's move on to let's go with the men's Royal Rumble first. Okay.
But I think that before we go to the men's Rumble, I think that Becky should take this, because I agree with Jimmy that she hasn't been built up enough for WrestleMania.
Yeah. Okie doke. Right. Hey Courtney, how we doing, buddy? I think I've already said that, but she's always here, so saying hello to her twice is never no problem. Yeah,
hello, Courtney.
Yeah. Courtney is one of our wrestle buddies, Harold, who always pops in and joins the chat with us and stuff. I want Jog Ziggler to win the Royal Rumble. Right, I'm going to recheck that. Bye, Courtney. I'm only joking. Okay, Royal Rumble time. First of all, before we start getting on to winners of this Rumble match, surprises. Okay, we're going to obviously get a few.
Bad Bunny make a big return.
That's a rumor.
We've already got Johnny Knoxville, haven't we, coming into the match, which I've got no problem with because Johnny's, obviously Jackass fame, and he's not going to be one of that like a Drew Carey who throws himself over the thing or anything like that. Johnny's probably going to get fucking launched out that Royal Rumble or something stupid. Yeah. But anyone else we see, Harold, let's go to you first. Anyone else you see in as a surprise in the men's
I would
Royal
love
Rumble?
them.
We're talking men's, Alex, not Trish and Bailey.
He got 2 men on the back side of that.
You've already been kicked off Twitter once for being a cyber bully, apparently. So, when you call Trish and Bailey men, you don't boo to you. Sorry, Harold, go on.
What were we talking about again?
Surprises in the men's Royal Rumble, my man.
The Royal Rumble's men surprise entrance.
We're talking just the men's side right now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see MJF.
Okay. Not a bad, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Anyone else or just MJF?
Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Chris Jericho did tease it earlier today. He
So,
said he postponed a Saturday show he had for next Saturday because he's busy this week. So
Yeah,
he's a little troll.
Anybody else we see, Harold?
The Rock to set up another WrestleMania main event for next year.
Not till next year. So. Right, shut up, Harold. Okay, Jimmy. He's moving in for me. Just so you know, Harold, I'm going to LA. That's why I don't want him to appear this year.
I don't think we're going to get any Forbidden Door entrance in the men's Royal Rumble. One that kind of sticks out with me now because I've heard 2 stories about him and they kind of coincide with each other now is Shane McMahon. Yes. I see Shane coming back because the one is that he's there this weekend, and the other one I heard is that him and Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So I think Austin Theory is your Iron Man for this match. Yeah. He's going in number 1, I think, and I think it's going to be Shane McMahon that comes in, eliminates him, and sets up that and. The Vince McMahon storyline makes perfect sense for it. So I think Shane McMahon is probably the biggest surprise you'll get for the men's side.
Okay. I'm going to go with a bit of a sad one here. Do you know who I'm going to say is going to appear in the men's Royal Rumble? Matt Cardona.
I would love it.
I think Matt Cardona is going to appear on a one-shot because he wouldn't sign with AEW. He didn't sign with anyone else. He's just being all over the place. And I think that he's going to be the Forbidden Door.
I would absolutely love it. If anybody's not paying attention to this man, he might be one of the most he's the top 3 most fascinating things in wrestling right now with everything he's doing. And that would pop me hard if he showed up. As long as you don't do that woo crap. Don't do that.
Yeah. So we got Simon Monk said Brock wins. Yeah, we said Bobby Lashley on that one side. Courtney says Corey Graves is cleared.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He could be a possible.
I think he's going to do a Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
Stand up and away he goes. John Moxley Ashton says, well, he appears where he wants, Mox, doesn't he? So could happen,
He is a free agent, is he not?
No, he's not, but he can appear where he wants, though.
We think. We don't know if that coincides with WWE television. We don't know how the contracts are worded. Right. But as of what we know, he seems to be able to appear wherever he wants.
WrestleBuddy says Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes could be. I think Jericho. I really do think Jericho could be the one because I know that they've been doing some kind of thing with AEW at the moment to use the footage of their wrestlers in some stuff, and I think that Jericho goes in the Hall of Fame this year.
I'll just say if it's Cody Rhodes, that's my pick. Full blown Cody Rhodes stand now. So yeah, if Cody Rhodes enters this Royal Rumble, please let Cody Rhodes win.
I think what's called Jericho. I do. I think he goes in the Hall of Fame this year.
If not this year, next year.
I could see next year happening more over than this year, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was in it. It wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let's go to the predictions for the winners now. As you say, Jim, it's very, very open on this year, isn't it, about who could win what. I know there's been a lot of rumours flying around that either Brock or Roman could lose their title, enter the Royal Rumble match and win it. Hope that doesn't happen. Totally agree with you on that one. Don't want to see it. What's your thoughts?
I'll say this. I know that the idea of Brock or Roman entering it and winning it it's a likely pick. I'm just not putting it into the universe. I'm ignoring even the possibility of it happening. I'm going to go ahead and say AJ Styles is my pick to win the Rumble. And I've given a few reasons in my articles and my shows. I just think the thing that sticks out the most for me is on Monday, the segment between Austin Theory and Vince McMahon, where he mentioned he was facing AJ Styles, and then Austin Theory just went on this list of all AJ's accomplishments. I thought it was weird placement, but then it kind of like dawned on me. He's like, they're kind of trying to remind people that AJ Styles is still that guy. He can still turn it on and be main event, and he's believable. And I can see him going over to SmackDown and challenging the champion over there because they need a main event babyface over there, big time. And it would separate him from the Omos situation because the squash.
Yeah,
he's on Raw and he just got squashed by Omos, and it doesn't work. He has to be on SmackDown for this to work.
And do you know also what you've just said there? He got squashed by Omos. WWE is so. They do it all the time where somebody gets squashed just before a push.
And another thing, he just resigned. They like to reward these people when they resign, either beforehand or afterhand. You reward him by giving him that last run that we all know he has left in him. And I'm that's why I'm going with AJ Styles.
Yeah, and that match with Grayson.
What about the fact that Kevin Owens made? Sorry.
No, go on, Harold.
What about the fact that Kevin Owens kind of needs this win?
Why does he need it though?
I find that the last couple of years he's been doing well, but I'd love to see him as a champion.
But there's a difference between wanting to see someone as a champion and them needing to be a champion.
I'm going to go ahead and build off what he's saying. I think the way they ended his last run was absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Pardon my French. It was absolute bullshit how they ended it, and then how they gave him a second match on the WrestleMania card with the best thing going in all wrestling with Chris Jericho. I think that needs to be just like they need to pay him back a little bit for that. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a main event style match for WrestleMania. I don't see it happening now though. They seem to be pushing him back down the card with Damian Priest and all that. But if he won the Royal Rumble, it wouldn't shock me because again, I think if there's someone who deserves that second opportunity in that spot, it's Kevin Owens for sure. Like. And he can go against anybody.
Too.
There's nobody you could put Kevin Owens against that wouldn't be intriguing. He has the thing with Seth that would be interesting. Him and Brock Lesnar, I've always thought would be just fantastic because Brock could just throw him around and he would just take it, and it would just be fun. I wouldn't be mad about Kevin Owens either.
Harold, who else? Kevin Owens, is that your only pick, or have you got anybody else in mind?
Him or Chris Jericho if he gets there.
Okay. Right, my pick for the Royal Rumble is the merchandise machine that is Riddle. I could just see it. Do you know what? And do you know what would be so hilarious would be Riddle versus Bobby Lashley at Mania. Mr. So Serious, MMA record, all this versus the Stoner, former UFC fighter. Oh, it'd be so funny.
That was my pick months ago. I'd love it. I'd celebrate with the man afterwards. I'd be so happy. But I think they have other plans for the man right now. Riddle versus Brock would be fantastic.
Yeah, Yeah.
Oh man, that would be so fantastic.
I still think it's Riddle. I do, because I feel like you've got a little bit of time between Rumble and WrestleMania, and the one thing that they always do is try and build something between the champions and the thingy straight away. Where the good thing with Riddle is he's still got the Randy Orton story to tell between now and Mania. Do you know what I mean? And they could probably have the payoff at the next pay-per-view before Mania, or a Crown Jewel. He could have Randy versus Riddle, and you know, there's something that goes on there. Do you know what I mean?
Shut up, Alex. I don't like that one at all. I don't like that one at all, man.
Me
Don't
neither.
do that to me. The only thing I don't like about the Riddle Orton thing is I think the payoff for that has to be at something. I think it's a WrestleMania payoff thing. I think it has to be. And
I agree.
I don't think 1 month would be enough time to really tell the end of that story. I don't, because they're still best buds now. You still have to get to that point of dissension, like growing, and I think the time wouldn't be enough. But it's another pick I wouldn't be mad about. I would absolutely love to see Riddle in that spot, because I've been fan since day one. He's fantastic.
Do you think you see someone like a Ciampa win it, or someone that could, you know, coming off NXT, give them a straight, like, shoot to a rocket strapped to them straight from the off?
If it's anybody from NXT, it's Braun Breaker.
Yes.
You think?
Yeah.
LA Knight's a good one.
I don't think anybody from NXT would be a Vince McMahon, like, he can look at and say that's a main event guy that I want facing someone. I think it has to be Braun Breaker.
But do you think, like, the way that Tommaso dealt with Braun and helped him along the way, and you could even see in the match, I remember when Braun got his leg hooked the wrong way and he changed it, and Tommaso helped him and all like that. And obviously with Triple H not being there and Vince taking a big, you know, interest in NXT, do you think he could have got a respect for Ciampa where he thinks, do you know what, let's get him in here,
Not to the point where you put him in that situation. I think he looks at Ciampa as a mid card at best guy.
Gunther?
Ciampa is the gatekeeper of NXT, let's say.
I'm not mad at Gunther. I don't think that's happening. I think he's gonna be in NXT for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he wants to go to the main roster anyway. I think he'd rather be happy being the gatekeeper in NXT.
He wants to go in there and mix it up with Sheamus and Roman and Brock. He wants to mix it up with them boys.
Oh yeah.
Those are money matches.
Gunther star. Still can't get over that. Okie doke then, so let's go for our predictions for the Men's Royal Rumble. I'm going to go with Riddle. Jimmy?
AJ.
Rev?
Kevin Owens.
Chris LaBelle goes for Grayson Waller. Ashton,
nice shout out, man. I love Grayson, so I'm not mad at that.
Ashton goes with myself. He's on Facebook. Ashton, he's going with Riddle with the title come on the scooter, and it would be funny if he did a tail whip. So that's good. Courtney, what's your pick on this one? We'll start looking at, if you want to pop it in there, we'll be good to see that. But let's move on to the women's
I
Rumble.
can't believe Alex talking about Goldberg eliminating Riddle, man. Stop that.
It'd be good if we got Alex. Are you sure this is you and it's not Zayn messing around with your computer? Are you sure you got your account back, mate? Because
Zayn got his account. He's in there trolling us, man.
I think poor Alex is like, he's had that much of a distraught day over Twitter that he's lost his mind. Dolph Ziggler. Okay, right. Swiftly moving on. We'll go on to the. It's Courtney's pick, Andy. Oh, sorry, yeah, Dolph Ziggler. Okay, Alex, I apologise. Courtney, what are you thinking? I forgot about that. You traumatised me that much with
and Dolph Ziggler was Courtney's pick. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okie doke, right. So we'll move on to the Women's Royal Rumble. We already know in the Women's Royal Rumble that we've got a special appearance from the one and only Mickie James. We've also got the Bellas back, Lita, Trish.
Don't forget
some
Paige.
Some really good ones in here. A good little mixture in here.
Don't forget Paige.
Well, as it being announced, yeah, Harold, and if you shut up, I'll ask you the question on the next one, and we can get to our figures. I'm only messing, buddy. I'm only messing. But yeah, we will get to who we think is going to be surprises in there. So obviously Harold's first one's Paige. But yeah, also it did get confirmed. Mickie James did confirm that she will be coming out to her country rock song, stuff like that. So it's really good. Jim, where does the land? No, actually, sorry, Harold. Let's go to you this time. Where does the land lie with the Women's Royal Rumble?
Believe it or not, this is going to be a prediction. I love to see Shayna Baszler come in and just go roughshod over everybody and tell them where to go, and I'd like to see her take it. But
well, that's not bad. You know, we've had Drew McIntyre who won the Rumble from kind of being that, you know, bodyguard type heel that he was with Shane for a bit, wasn't he, and gooching around, and you know, we won the Rumble automatically. He's a babyface and he goes on to win the championship, so it can happen like that, Harold, can't it?
yes, it could. I just like the fact. I just like Shayna Baszler, period, as an athlete.
Yeah.
She does put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they all do, but I think it's time for giving Shayna Baszler a title other than a tag team. Give her a solo title.
Yeah. Okay. Any surprise admissions?
Paige. Mickey James. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Trish make another appearance. Not to win, but make an appearance. After all, her, Lita, Alicia Fox, all them, they did set the table for people like Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair.
Right. Okay. Jimmy?
I'm kind of 50-50 on the Paige one. I think it's kind of, I don't know. It's a little too obvious. I don't know if she's even, we don't know anything about her being cleared. And we know how that kind of thing always gets spoiled. So I'd like to see her return. I think she could return, but I'm not betting money on it. Same with Bayley. I think Bayley would have been spoiled by now if she was. But I would love to see her. And if she's in it, she's my pick to win it. That's not, you don't even need my prediction. If Bayley's in it, she's winning it. And then Sable. I think there's a very good possibility we see Sable in this Royal Rumble.
Yeah, there's been pictures. Did you see the picture of Aaron Brock at the gym?
Yep. Yeah. That kind of that picture kind of solidified it for me.
Plus the fact she's Brock Lesnar's wife. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. We haven't seen her in a minute.
No, we haven't.
Okay, well, Alex says, Simon Monk said, I've said Bayley for months, but now it has to be Ronda. Chris LaBelle says either Ronda wins or Alexa Bliss. Alex goes, I'll go with Alexa, and then she challenges Charlotte and Mania to take revenge for Lily.
That's my idea.
A surprise for Paige, Bayley, Ronda, Trish, Molly Holly, Gillian Hall.
Molly Holly, Gillian Hall.
The surprise ends. Well, they will appear, and I believe anyway. Yeah. I do believe they will appear.
Isn't Molly Holly a producer right now? So that would make perfect sense for her to make an appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Lita. I think Lita wins this. I think Aaron Charlotte have had a little bit.
She had one more run left in her.
Well, she did, and they had a little bit of a, exchange, didn't they? So I'm going to go with Lita. I think Paige, my gypsy brethren from the UK, comes back into it. You know what I mean? My gypsy sister. Tony Storm, Sean Ashton says, Tony Storm left WWE, mate, 2 months ago. So she's actually gone, back. But it'd be great to see her in there. I don't see any, the Bellas are obviously in it as well. And I feel like the Bellas will go. I think the Bellas will have a moment in this match with Queen Zelina and Carmella. And I think that we see them have a tag team match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Because I think the Bellas have got, the Bella twins have said it, haven't they? And now that they're actually both in a position to come back to the, to the company, I feel like we're gonna have this tag match somewhere along the line. Alex says Brock Sable versus Miz and Maryse versus Edge and Beth triple for Hell in a Cell.
Go ahead and throw Corey Graves and Carmella in there too. Make it a 4-way.
House chores from Hell match. So okay, right. So as I say, I'm gonna go for Rhea vs Nikki with a crazy gimmick at Mania. Yeah, I think that one's going to happen at Mania, though. We could see it on the road to Mania. So my predictions for a few more surprises. So Paige, I feel like might going to be my surprise that no one will see coming. I also think Deonna Purrazzo will appear. Because I know, don't forget, they've tried to get the Iconics. They didn't get them. And I feel like because they didn't get them, they might go for somebody else. And I feel like Deonna Purrazzo would be a good one for them. Jimmy, what's your thoughts on surprise entrance?
Deonna Purrazzo would be a tough one to sell to me, just because of how much disdain she has for WWE. She never has anything nice to say about them. But I guess I could see it happening to kind of further push the Mickie James story thing with her and Impact. Alex just said another Asuka. That'd be a good one to have Asuka return in this.
Yeah.
No,
I can see that one.
Aksana, that one was, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Asuka. That's my other surprise, I guess.
Yeah. I can see Deonna Purrazzo entering in this match and eliminating Mickie James. That's fair.
That would do well for their feud in the other company.
Yeah. I feel like, what's Impact got to gain by just putting it into this match? I know they got the Impact's Knockout Championship and stuff, but if they could take that and get her to eliminate Mickie at this match, it'd be massive for Impact, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Harold, what do you think your surprise entrances?
Paige. You know what else would freak me out, though, as far as that goes, is Jade Cargill.
Okay.
That would be an interesting one, to say the least. We all know Mickie James and the Bella Twins and all that. To me, I think Jade Cargill would be a good entry into that.
Okay. Cool. Right, winners of the Women's Royal Rumble. I know that Critch said Liv Morgan. I am going to go with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I have two, and it's because my number one that I want to happen is just so outlandish. It's just probably not going to happen. But the thing Alex said, I think makes sense. Alexa wins it, and then she challenges Charlotte. And again, it helps bolster that SmackDown roster because it's in shambles at the moment. You put Alexa over there, and then you have the Lily storyline. You took my Lily, I take your championship. It's a good story. It's very simple, and I think it works. But the one I want to happen, I want Mickie James to win this. I think you could have her win this. You could give her the Hall of Fame moment, and you could have her challenge Charlotte Flair title for title at Mania. It's new. It's big. It's something you could really sell for WrestleMania. And I like the new and freshness of it. We haven't seen it, so it would be cool if WWE went that route.
So I'm going to say, obviously, I've said Lita, and I also said, who else was it I just said then?
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, because it could be a good start for her. My third and final pick for the Rumble, because obviously it's that open this year that we could have anything. I'm going to say Raquel Gonzalez.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, Andy.
And if you're doing a third pick, I'm doing a third pick as well. Like I said before, if Bayley's in it, Bayley's winning it. That's been my pick for months and months and months. I'm only backing away now because I just don't know if she's in it.
Hugger Bayley or the other Bayley?
I think the other Bayley could work as a face, and she could literally challenge Becky or Charlotte, and it would be awesome. Yeah. It would be awesome, and it's main eventing night one. Bayley earned that during the Performance Center era, and she deserves it. Bring her if she's coming back. Give her that. Have her challenge Charlotte or Becky. Okay. Her and Becky would have.
Sorry, go
on. Her and Becky would just have the most phenomenal program leading up to it because their mic work is it's the best in the women's division. So
brilliant.
I agree with you.
Chris LaBelle says Alexa Bliss or Asuka. Demon Joker, Big Joe, how we doing, buddy? Says Lita wins, then
Hey,
faces
Demon
Charlotte for
Joker.
WrestleMania. Now, Alex has just asked, so let's do this very quickly, guys, because we've got to wrap up soon. Who will be the final four for both Rumbles? So I'll go first, okay? So for the men's Rumble, I see Drew McIntyre, I see Austin Theory, I see Riddle, and I see Chris Jericho. And for the women's, I see Lita, I see Asuka, if she comes back. I see Rhea Ripley, and I see Lita. Yeah, I should say Lita, didn't I? Okay, Jimmy?
For the men's, I'm going Riddle, Orton, AJ, Omos. I think that's a really nice kind of kickback to what we had a few months ago. And for the women's, I'm going Rhea, who will also be the Iron Woman in this match. Mickie James, Alexa, and Charlotte.
Okay, WrestleBuddy says Owens, Riddle, AJ, and Big E. And for the girls, Lita, Rhea, Bianca, and Alexa. Simon Monk says Brock, Theory, AJ, and Omos. Rev Cupid, what are we going for, buddy?
Okay, for the women's.
She's in Alex.
Lita, Paige, Rhea Ripley, and Asuka.
Okay, and the men's?
Chris Jericho, MJF, Austin Theory, and Shane McMahon.
Oof.
Okie doke. Right. Demon Joker says Lita, Asuka, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Walter, Tommaso Ciampa. Crystal Bell says Owens, Styles, Big E, and Theory.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to Demon Joker. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, the Joker.
I will say I think Charlotte ends up eliminating Lita, and that's what ends up setting up their match at Saudi, not WrestleMania.
Interesting. Simon Monk says Ronda, Bianca, Bailey, Charlotte for the women's. Okay, guys. Well, that is us. We're going to wrap it up there. Make sure you join us tomorrow for our live watch along, guys. Always dead fun. We'll be there for the whole duration of the Royal Rumble. And if you can't join us on the watch along, but you can't watch the Royal Rumble either, make sure you check out WrestleBuddy.com, where we will have live updates of all the Royal Rumble goings on. And also throughout the day tomorrow, check out WrestleBuddy.com again. We'll have some articles, I'm sure, with news and anything else that's going on with the Royal Rumble. And you know, one thing I did want to say as well is make sure that you are interacting with us on social media, guys. You know, come and speak to us all. We're all there. We're all happy to talk wrestling, as we do all the time. But until next time, guys, take care, and we will see you again next time. But as I say, tomorrow from 1 a.m. UK time. Jimmy, what time US, sorry?
I believe it's 7 Eastern, maybe 8. I always check like 2 hours beforehand. I don't know.
It'd be 9 o'clock.
You won't want to miss my live reactions, though.
And what time are we on in Canada, Canal?
On the Atlantic side, it would be 9 p.m., 8 p.m. pre-show.
Brilliant.
Chris said 7, so there you go. 8 p.m. Eastern. There you go.
8 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, watch us wherever you can, guys. Come and join us. We'll be having our live watch along. Come and join us in the fun. It's not like it is here where we're having a proper discussion and stuff like that. We just have fun and have a laugh as it's going along, and we love to have you all there and have a chat with you. Cheers, Simon. Cheers, Christopher. Cheers, Demon Joker. Cheers, Courtney. Cheers, Ashton. Cheers, everybody who watched us. And until next time, take care, guys. See you soon.
Keep rocking. Stay positive.
Hamilton.